As little kids, every day is a success within itself. What a momentous occasion to pour milk without mom's help, never stopping to think about where we're going or where we'll end up. We just figure life will take us there soon enough. Soon we grow up and start thinking about the past, wondering if we'll ever find a way to make those precious days last. So today we wish for another chance to relive that glee, maybe say one more goodbye to those who helped shape our memories. By now we've seen all the world's sadness, terror, and sorrow. We begin to fear tomorrow. What happens when tomorrow doesn't come? Will we wish for one more chance to watch the setting sun? Will we wish we could go back and do things that make us feel alive? Or maybe even apologize? Now all that's left is to find what to do with our precious gift of life. An old professor from the novel Fahrenheit 451 says, "I sit here and now I'm alive," and the narrator of The Book Thief says, "Here's a small fact. You are going to die." It's hard sometimes to wake up and not see the gray sky, our failures and mistakes. It's the worst to have to wake up early and go to school sometimes, isn't it? What we fail to recognize is that someone did not have the gift of waking up today because their life ended yesterday. However, we will go about our day complaining that the coffee didn't taste right, or the traffic made us late to work, or we couldn't find our favorite pair of jeans. While we get caught up in the hustle and bustle in the world, we forget to stop and take a moment to appreciate our lives. We have all had people close to us die. My great-grandfather died in 2015. He lived his whole life in England, and the last time I saw him was in 2012. Being 8, I didn't think that would be my last time visiting. Being 8, I figured I would see him again soon. Being 8, I was too busy and naive to think about how that could have been my last time staying in his house, playing in his garden, or delivering the daily newspaper to him. It was only 7 years later, when I revisited his abandoned house, that I realized how precious the gift of life is. Early on, I found how quickly life moves and how fast the important people and memories can disappear. Therefore, we must never waste a single moment on this earth. To start, we must realize that the bad things aren't really that bad. The coffee isn't terrible, the traffic is tolerable, lost jeans aren't the end of the world. When we recognize that the bad things aren't really that bad, we begin to live our lives with a better purpose. So why not try and do something about our lives while we still have the time? Why don't we make every day count before our fateful day arrives? Within this world of lies, I believe in two absolute truths. The first is that I am alive. The second is that I am going to die. The time we are given on earth is short, and we cannot waste this time fearing an inevitable event. Why do we fear death if it's as natural as birth? Even when the universe seems to scream at us, your life is going to end one day, we ignore the songs and poems that preach nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain, or the poems that read nothing gold can stay. We often get so caught up in unimportant tasks that we fail to realize that both the good and the bad will end. Unfortunately, the beautiful moments do not last forever, but the songs, poems, and books will never disappear. Even when the authors lay long dead, their words still beg humanity to look up and find a way to truly live. I am afraid I can only believe that life will end, and we just have to be ready for that day. In order to be ready, we must be willing to risk a little bit every day in order to completely live our lives. Then, when our day comes, we know we will have lived. Every day we wake up, the world presents us with two options: the opportunity to live and the chance to die. Literally, there is no deep philosophical meaning. At the end of the day, we either live to see another, or we leave this world forever. True, life is terrible, scary, and there are plenty of reasons to hate the world and fear life. There are sharks in the ocean, venomous spiders in our homes, bears in the woods, drunk drivers on the road, and psychopaths in the streets. Bret Michaels sang that every rose has its thorn, and maybe these terrible things are the world's thorns that distract us from seeing life's complete beauty. I figure I'd rather risk today for another tomorrow than fearfully wait for my time to be over. I'd rather throw myself into the depths of the ocean with the high chance of drowning than never feel what it's like to swim amongst the sea's waves. Of course, there is fear in nearly every situation we approach. What is life without a little fear or risk? How boring would life be if we never did anything that made us remotely uncomfortable? I found when people truly live their lives, when they want a little risk or thrill, God is watching over them and will be there to pull them from the jaws of the world. Now, there are two ways we can go about living our daily lives. We can either live every day fearful of our inevitable end, or live every day in accordance with what we believe makes us happiest. Since life will end and nothing in the universe will matter, why not give purpose and beauty to our lives just to spite the universe's meaninglessness? The popular movie quote, "I figure life's a gift and I don't intend on wasting it," You learn to take life as it comes at you, to make each day count. Perfectly embodies the moral message that we have to come to accept the inconveniences and not let them scare us from truly living. We all die. There is nothing we can do about that. Humanity must stop going through the motions of the day as if tomorrow is guaranteed, because not even our next breath is guaranteed. Alan Watts, a British writer who studied psychology and modern science, eloquently states, "You can only die well if you understand the system of waves," meaning there is a fine line somewhere between chaos and tranquility in which human life exists. We must be willing to experience life's magnificence, even though the waters may be frightening. After watching so many people in my life die, the smaller aspects in my life became more meaningful and gained greater purpose. We should not fear death, but we should fear the possibility of living a life that could have had greater potential. Ray deGrasse Tyson, an astrophysicist from Harvard University, states, "Consider the possibility that maybe the meaning in life is something that you create, you manufacture for yourself. Because life itself has no subjective meaning if we do not create for it a definition of its own. Although there is an objective, scientific definition of life, there is no subjective meaning in life. That is something we create and decide for ourselves." The most exciting part of living is figuring out that definition for yourself. The meaning of life is completely up to you to decide, because no one else experiences the same things as you. You are exclusively unique. No one has your past, your future, or your present. It is exciting to be able to mend together your own unique definition of the world. After all, being alive begins and ends with the heartbeat. The most simplistic thing, the heartbeat, allows us to smile, cry, laugh, and do things for the thrill of it. Never forget to value the simple gift of waking up in the morning. It could be your last. Never forget the gift of a moment, because there may not be another one. Never forget the gift of others in your life, because any of them could go at any time. Seize today's chance to live, and do not let life slip away, because it holds so much potential. Somewhere there is a life to live, a world to explore, jokes to crack, and precious memories to make. All I know is that we are alive, someday we will die, and somewhere there is a meaning of life we each have to find. At the end of the day, when death holds you in his arms, I truly hope you are able to say, "I sit here and know I lived."